In this episode of Killer Rides, we bring you a cranky big block Valiant, a blown LS powered HJ Holden, and a TE Cortina that's under construction. We then travel across the globe to DuQuoin in the USA, where we check out some wild pro street cars at the annual Street Machine Nationals. Back home, when we take in all the action of the Burnout Outlaws at Sydney Dragway, and there's also a special feature on the very first Killer Rides toy run. But let's get things rolling with the Boss-powered XL Falcon out of Sydney. Hope you enjoy the show. Clint Rolls didn't have to look very far to find his next project. In fact, it was just a few houses up from where he lived. Despite a few failed attempts to buy the car, his perseverance paid off and the owner eventually parted company with it. Let's check out his handiwork.
Okay, I've had the car for about 12 or 13 years. It was a complete original car with only 230,000 original miles on it. It wasn't running. I just got it, stripped the car down and put a standard V8 in it first, painted it matte black, had it pinstriped and lowered, and then took it off the road again and then wanted to upgrade and do the front end, do the front conversion with the L300 cross member. So I did that, mini tub the rear, stepped the leaf springs across, then put the 347 Boss motor in it. And went from there. I picked the car up about 5 doors down the road from where I live. So,
and you'd always known it had been there?
Yeah, he'd had it for a few years and he found it down in Cowra. So originally come from Cowra.
And was it something that he was willing to sell or you had to badger him for it?
I conned him into it over about 2 or 3 years. And then when he was moving house, he finally come around and I bought it off him for $1,000. So, yeah. No, the plan was have it flat black, put a nice V8 in it, and then as things go on, I just roll on to do something else, and I always change my mind and go something else. Then I bought the rims, and then I went, now I'll have to paint it a better colour instead of being matte black, and just had it off the road for about 5 years and bought a house and everything in between, and then got back into the car and got it going over the last 18 months. Okay, 302 block, stroked it out to a 347, skate crank rods. It's got a set of Ross pistons, which are lumpy top pistons in it. Thing runs about 12-to-1 compression. It's got AFD heads on it. The heads flow 680 horsepower, a big solid cam and that in it. Just built it up. It's got an 850 double pumper on it. And for the PPG Vibrant Selection, it's Orange Glow. It's a silver base, so it's got 3 layers of silver, 3 layers of candy, and then we put 3 layers of clear. And then the roof's the white off the Aston Martin DB9, Morning Frost White. Pretty much cut all the inner guards out of the front end, so to put the L300 cross member in it. So for that I had to weld in the braces and that which go in from behind the dash, run forward so the front's not going to bend up. I've mini tubbed it, upgraded the brakes obviously on the front, and now I've got F6 Typhoon Brembos on it all around. The mini tub the rear end, I stepped the leaf springs across so I could get 10s under the rear of it. And there's not much more mods other than that. The body was 100% rust free. The first thing I did with it was paint strip it and took it right back to bare metal, see what I was working with. There was a couple of little shop and trolley dings on it, that was it.
So who would you like to thank for helping with the build of the car?
The build of the car, mate Jeff Jensen, he helped and he actually did quite a bit on the conversion in the front end. My brother Preston, mate Christian Gibb, mate Big Rob, and Kurt, who helped respray the bay, and mate Jesse, who actually painted the car for me. I'm going to lower the front end down about 1.5 inches. Can't go anymore because I won't get in and out my driveway, otherwise I'd like it slammed about 3 inches more all the way around. If I put a smaller motor, it's only for the sake of so I can drive it. Like the RSN, what's in it's a 35 spline Mark Williams RSN sitting under it. With a locker, I'll probably just turn around and put an LSD center in it as well and just get it so I think it'd be more drivable on the street. Hey, I'm Clint. This is my XL Falcon and you're watching Killer Rides.
Modified car owners have a reputation of having a big heart, especially when it comes to children's charities. So when we teamed up with the Illawarra modified car community to stage the first Killer Rides toy run, we knew it was going to be a huge success. Check this out. On the 12th of December, Killer Rides combined forces with the Illawarra Modified Car Community monthly meet to stage the first ever Killer Rides toy run. Sandra arrived on the back of a Harley and was a big hit with the kids of all ages, though some weren't so sure. As the cars rolled into the Bunnings car park in Warrawong, so too did the gifts, with hundreds of wrap toys being donated by the car owners and general public alike, filling up the Wollongong Homeless Hub's truck. Modified car owners have a long history of helping those in need, especially children whose families are doing it tough at this time of the year. The collected toys were distributed by the Wollongong Homeless Hub on Christmas Eve after their annual lunch. Montana and I were fortunate enough to be involved in this, and it was great to see the gifts that were so kindly donated bring smiles to both the kids and their parents. Do you think four-door sedans aren't tough? Well, you need to check out this Cranky Valiant. Not only does it have 4 doors, but also a big block, ton of rams and wheel tubs. Be prepared to have your mind changed.
Chose a 4-door, didn't want to coupe, something different. This is Dad's old car, 1972, one owner. We bought it brand new, and I just like the look of the 4-door. I like the long quarter panels. It's got a nicer arse end, something different. Many coupes out there. I'm a fan of a Charger and Challengers and Cooters, but I think I just wanted to go something different and go with the 4-door. And it's been in the family for a long time, so I like it. Funny you say so, a couple of weeks ago he came out and I told him it's all done. He had a look here in the garage and he was gobsmacked. His jaw hit the ground and he told me, he goes, why don't you keep it original, son? But then after he sat in it and had a look and I turned it on and sitting there, idling rough and all that whatnot, he had a big smile on his face and he goes, I think we've done the right decision. And he's just happy that it's still there, the 4-door, and we've kept it, and yeah, he's over the moon. I haven't given him the keys to take for a drive yet. I want to enjoy it first, but definitely I will give Dad the keys to take for a drive, yeah, no problem. The motor's a 440 big block Chrysler engine. We've stroked it to a 540 cube. Brett from St Mary's Engine's done all the work. It's got a big roller cam in it, the high-rise manifold, twin carbs, custom pipes, grout filled block. She's a 540 big block stroker. She makes 810 horse on race fuel. Yeah, that's about it. That's where it is now, and hopefully we enjoy it for a while before we maybe put a blower on it and go from there. To keep it old school. I like the look of the tunnel ram, especially the high-rise tunnel ram with the carbs. I think it just gives it that tough stance. There's a lot of blown vehicles out there. Don't get me wrong, love a supercharger. Later on in the future, we'll probably go that way. But I just like the stance and the look of the tunnel ram. It gives you that old school look. It is a 70s vehicle, and I like it. Just suits that era, 60s, 70s. It just looks good with the tunnel ram and the twin carbs and the high-rise K10 cleaners. I reckon it looks great. The original car colour combination was white with a black vinyl roof, 14-inch wheels, and a grandmother green lounge interior, cloth interior trim. That's the original, the car column shift. No, it's not the original colour of the car. So yeah, we decided to go a bit more modern and something different. The name of the colour, it's a custom silver, and it's mixed between a titanium and a silverstone. We'll keep it at custom that way so no one copies the paint. So, but it's mixed between the two, and it's got a fair bit of metallic added in there. So it's a custom silver. But I've hinted a couple of things there, so you guys will get the drift. I was going to go, to be honest with you, I was going to go with the American racing rims. Torque Thrust 2s from memory, the wheel, and I've still got them here, and they've got slicks on them. But I decided to go something different, a bit more modern, to give it a bit more of a tougher stance. They're Simmons, obviously at the back, 3-piece custom Simmons. They're 20 Simmons and they're 20x15s at the rear, so the rims are 20x15, and it's got Mickey Thompson Sportsman's at the back, 20x15s as well. So nice and fat to give us a little bit of traction, whatever traction we do get out of it. And 20s on the front, so yeah, so it's nice and chunky in the rear, so it's pretty big for a Chrysler. The only thing left on the interior that's part Chrysler is probably the dash pad and the dash panel, and the steering column. The rest of it, it's got a billet steering wheel, billet specialty steering wheel, billet steering wheel. The seats are Ford XR seats, 2012, so that's an FG, Ford Falcon XRA seats. We've taken the headrests and all that off and customised them, so tried to bucket them up a bit more, puff them up a bit more, and we've turned it into a 4-seater, so it does have 4 seat belts, nothing in the middle, so just give it a bit more of a puffiness to it. There's a million people, but the first person I need to thank is my wife. She put up with a lot of crap. So just from day one, moving it, taking it from here to there, and spending money here and there, and she's awesome, and the kids have been great, and we put it on hold for a while, being a family man with kids and all that, so it took a bit of time to get it finished and sorted out, but it's finally finished. I'm happy with it. Cranky one. I'm always cranky. The kids reckon I'm a cranky old bastard. My old man's cranky. We're all cranky. And the car's pretty cranky. So she's very lumpy. Sounds good. Sounds tough. Goes well. So I thought cranky one will suit the car, suit me. And yeah, so that's cranky one, I suppose. Hi, I'm Ray. This is my Valiant, and you're watching Killer Rides.
There seems to be just as many burnout events as car shows these days, and the recent Burnout Outlaws event at Sydney Dragway was one of the better ones. Check out all the action. TE Cortinas are rarely seen as tough car builds, but thanks to Kane and Steve at Extreme Fabworks, that's all about to change. Their makeover of this TE Cortina is nothing short of amazing. Have a look at this. For this In The Build segment, we find ourselves back at Extreme Fabworks, where Kane and Dave had a workshop full of cool rides they're building. For us though, it's the TE Cortina we're focusing on this time around. The small Ford is back on its wheels after having the custom front and rear suspension installed, along with coilovers, mini tubs and associated hardware. The fabricated engine bay will soon host a blown 347 cube Windsor, which will make more than enough power for the much wider wheels to handle. The Simmons wheels are 19x7 and 19x10 and suit the Cortina down to the ground, offering a much better style and footprint, that's for sure. The boys also fabricated the polished alloy fuel tank that now takes up most of the boot space. This blown Cortina is destined for life on the street and should be on the street sooner rather than later, with the boys really hooking in on the work. We hope to bring you a full feature on this killer Cortina when it's completed. Stay tuned. The phrase "you've got to be blown to be known" rings true in the Burnout arena. Troy Fry knows this, so he repowered his HJ Holden with a blown injected LS2 that blows off a set of tyres with ease.
Hi, my name's Troy. This is my blown HJ, and you're watching Killer Rides. Pretty much the HJ was the one I wanted at the time because, yeah, it just come along. And, yeah, I couldn't pass it up for the deal that I got it for, so, yeah, that's why. Went with an LS because I'm good mates with Mark Montgomery, which is MILF, and he knows his way around an engine, and yeah, pretty much had one there at the time, so I started off with an LS1 and went through two of them, so now I've gone to the 6 litre LS2, and yeah, it's been good so far. Driving on the street, I haven't really driven it that much on the street, but it does get driven on the street, and haven't seen many police while driving it, so I've been lucky in that aspect, but yeah, haven't been harassed at all. Originally it was only meant to be just a street cruiser, LS1, and yeah, a little bit of a burnout car at the same time. But during the build, got a bit impatient and just went out and bought a blower. And yeah, it just sort of went a little bit higher than what I wanted to at that point in time. And then I got asked to do a mate's wedding, and then it just blew it right out of proportion, made it a lot cleaner than what I originally intended it to be. And yeah, that's what it is today. More horsepower, always more horsepower. New set of wheels, maybe a new paint job, but I'll get through this paint job first, use it as much as I can before I get it repainted. The initial build, it was in dribs and drabs, so I'd done work on it when I had the funds to do it, everything else, sort of a budget build at the same time. So I had the car since January 2013, and yeah, pretty much it's still ongoing, so they're never really finished. Roy from Full Throttle Customs, Mark Milk from Montgomery, and just a lot of mates. A lot of mates have helped me out in a big way, changing motors to get them done by deadlines and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely my wife. So she's been a big help.
Happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life for sure. I've only really been to Burnout Mania at this stage, so but Candos is definitely on the cards for the start of next year. But yeah, definitely got to get it out to a few more events next year.
Alright, I need you to look straight in the camera though. We'll go again, alright? Go.
Go.
We love killer rides.
Oh, you're hopeless, please.
One more shot.
Yeah, up.
Ready? Go again.
We love killer rides.
Oh, please. Come on, ready? I'll say ready, set, go. Ready? On three. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
We love killer rides.
Maddie. On three. Ready? When I say three, you start saying it. Okay, ready? 1, look at the camera. Look at the camera. 2, 3.
We love killer rides.
If you thought Pro Street was dead, think again. At the recent Street Machine Nationals in DuQuoin in the USA, there's a huge gathering of full tilt Pro Street cars. Thanks to the crew at v8tv.com, we get to check out a couple of them now.
The Street Machine Nationals is a show that attracts a certain type of car, namely a Pro Street car. And Pro Street is its own type of style. It's very cool. A Pro Street car, kind of by definition, has big tires in the back, skinny tires in the front, a lot of power, oftentimes big blower coming through the hood or some kind of wild induction, and usually they're capped off with some kind of wild graphic. And Pro Street evolved from, let's say, the early mid-70s. It kind of peaked in the 80s, and a lot of these cars that are here today were actually built back then, and today they're brought back for this Legends of Pro Street display. It's really cool because if you read any of the car magazines through that time period, you've seen these cars. You've seen that pink Thunderbird, you've seen the blue Malibu, you've seen a lot of these different cars. It's amazing to me that they still exist and that they still look as good as they do. And this is one of the few shows you can come to see a massive Pro Street display. there's a few cars that stand out in your mind from a magazine or seeing them at a show, and this Camaro is definitely one of them for me. Gary, how long have you had this car?
It's been completed since 1993 for our first year down here.
And I'm going to say CarCraft featured it in September, October 93, something like that?
Yep, it was early 1994.
Early
94, yeah.
I remember vividly the spread in the magazine because I had it stuck to my bedroom wall.
Yeah, they did a great shot. It was shot in a building right over here, just not far from where we're at now.
Yeah. So back then, I mean, you've got things done to this car that are innovative today, done 20-some years ago.
When we started building this car, we just went after it in our own little way in a little garage, and we just locked ourselves in the garage, and we said, what can we do that's different? You know, well, let's make a hood on power window motors, and let's make a smooth headliner, and let's do things like that. So it was basically a lot of street rod involvement from back in the day that we incorporated into this car.
How'd you build the nose?
The nose is based off a stock 71 split bumper Camaro, and the original ones had a polyurethane piece that bolted on, and to get the smooth look, we made one out of sheet metal and we welded it on and body worked it in.
And there's all kinds of smoothing done all over this car.
Every seam has been filled, smoothed out. All the vents in the hood are now gone. There's a body line used to be at the bottom of the door. We worked all that out. Everything you can smooth or fill, we smooth or filled it. That was what was hot in 93 and 94.
Well, and again, it still looks good now.
Well, thank you.
Now, how original is this car to the 93 build?
It is identical.
So has it been repainted, refreshed at all?
The car's a driver. It's probably got 50,000 miles on it. It's on its third or fourth paint job.
Wow.
3 overalls and 1 touch-up.
Yeah, but it's still the same color and everything.
Exactly, Bahama blue. Yeah, for a 92 Chevy truck, I believe, actually.
Yes, yeah, I remember well.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that's cool is the silly little details, like tell me about the wrench on the floor.
Well, when we did the car, a lot of graphics and stuff was real popular, and we couldn't decide what we wanted. And we just tossed it around night after night in the garage building the car. And it's like, well, with a sheet metal interior, what would you least likely to expect to see in the car? A tool laying in a floorboard. So we airbrushed the wrench in the floor. And it's funny how many people try to pick that up.
Yeah, I bet. And tell us what's powering this?
It's a basically stock 2-port motor out of a Hyrox Z28 Camaro.
Still running strong.
Still running strong. It's got the SLP runners on it, computer chip, just basically stock. It's built to drive, and you know, we never trailered them back in the day. You know, you hop in them and you drive them. So that's what we basically built this for. So
thanks for bringing it on, for building it and keeping it alive.
Well, absolutely. Thank you.
You got it, buddy.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
One of the attributes of a true pro street car is mind-bending visual appeal. And I'm here with Tony, who brought out a 61 Plymouth.
Yes, Belvedere.
This thing's insane.
Thank you.
Tell me, what was the mission with this car?
I just wanted to build something that you haven't seen done to death.
Yeah, well, you definitely nailed it.
Yeah.
So 61 Belvedere, how much of the body is actually stock 61?
All of it is stock. We've smoothed out a couple of the seams and whatnot and shaved the door handles, but for the most part, it's as Plymouth made it.
It's cool that you were able to start with a car that was wild to begin with.
Yeah, one of the ugliest cars on earth,
Yeah.
but we made it all right.
Yeah. And you obviously did a lot of chassis work, motor work. What's underneath this thing?
It's Art Morrison air ride frame. The back half, we had back half the car in the mid-90s. And then the front half is Art Morrison 2x4 air ride front stub on it as well.
And it looks like we've got a pair of giant turbos and a cross ram, kind of original style Chrysler intake.
Yeah, the intakes would have been original. You could purchase them on these cars new, and I just thought if we're going to do something wild looking, it's the coolest intake on earth. Why wouldn't you barf a couple turbos through it as well?
Yeah, and that's what's so neat about doing cars that are different, because not only did the exterior of the car look insane, this car, when it was new, you opened the hood and it was halfway this crazy.
Yeah, you could order that for sure.
So what's the rest of the engine?
It's a 440 with the 415 crank, so it's 496.
Nice.
Pretty tame, runs on pump gas. Turbos are 64 millimeters.
Yeah.
Pretty tame, small camshaft in it. Runs cool. It makes about 700 horse.
Oh, I bet easily all day long.
Yeah.
So you're barely boosting this thing then?
Correct.
Yeah. Built for longevity.
And yes. And
what about the transmission rear end?
the tranny is a 727 torque fly, grinder, brake, and a PTC converter. The rear end's a Ford 9-inch. They work.
Yep.
And I don't need to be brand loyal about that. But,
Sure.
You know.
And the color combination is just intense. What color are we looking at?
It is 2010 Viper Snakeskin Green, and the top is a PT Cruiser pastel yellow that we did a mid coat with a bunch of green pearl and flake in it as well.
Staying all within the Mopar family.
And a kind of a factory paint.
Sure, and it's not a custom mix.
Right.
So you could fix it if it gets chipped.
Absolutely.
The bright work and the trim look fantastic.
When you own a 61 Plymouth, you gather parts and pieces for a lot of years.
And you spend a lot of money with a plater.
Yes, you do.
Well, you can tell your plater they did a nice job.
Thank you.
Take me through the interior.
The interior, our buddy of mine, he did the door panels to mimic the stock door panels that I brought him. And the seats are teased seats that he reupholstered because I had these seats in this car years ago.
Yeah. So you've had this car for a long time?
I've had it since 94.
94, right.
Yeah.
And what do you do with it?
Drive it. Drive it. Make friends.
There you go. Well, we appreciate it. It's a pleasure meeting you. Awesome car.
Thanks
for bringing it out.
Thanks.
Yep.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Killer Rides TV. We'll be back next month where we'll bring you more cars, more events, and more of what you want to see on Killer Rides TV. See you then.